Welcome back to the Notary Podcast, hosted by me, Daniel C. Lewis. So happy to see you back this week. We have a great podcast scheduled for you today, and I just wanted to make sure if you like this podcast, make sure you hit the like button, share this podcast. Feel free to share it on your groups that you're in, your notary groups and your business groups, and also make sure you subscribe. We really love to see our subscribers, and if you have any ideas or topics you want me to cover during the podcast, feel free to put those down in the comment section below. So I just want to welcome you all back. And before we even start this podcast, I'm starting to do a new section of the podcast that I think that people would really benefit from, because I hear from notaries that are really building their reference library, that's really building reference materials that they can look back on and when they're doing their research on different topics of the notaries. Last week we talked about a new book by Bill Soroka and Julie Lawrence about apostilles that you can find right on Amazon. I'm sure it's a great book. It has 116 tips I think you can use to really build your notary business in the apostille market. So definitely look at that. And this week, I have another book I wanted to definitely mention that I think is a fantastic book. This book's been out for a couple of years now, but I think it's fantastic, not just because I was a co-author on this book with Judy Lawrence, but because it's a great book if you're just starting off your notary business, or if you are a seasoned notary and just need a book for reference materials on how to build your business. And this week, the book that I'm referring to is this one, Make Your Business Our Business. It's written by both me and Judy Lawrence, me, Daniel C. Lewis, and Judy Lawrence. It has a lot of great chapters in there, especially if you're just starting your notary business. Just to read just the excerpt, I always like to read a little excerpt from the book, and an excerpt from the dedication that I dedicate this book. This book is dedicated to all the notaries and business people who have inspired me to write this book, but will never read it. So that's a little dedication from me. But it has a lot of great ideas on how to start your business, and it tells you how to use this book in order to leverage your business in a great way, and helps you with setting your business up for unlimited income. So it has a lot of great things in this book: how to build a book, how to build your business, how to get an EIN number, how to use Outlook, and it goes over a little bit about remote online notarization, accepting proper identification, journaling. It has a lot of this book is power packed with a lot of great information on it. I think it's one of my list of must get books. And this book is also found on Amazon. It's called Make Your Business Our Business, written by both me and Judy Lawrence. I highly recommend you get this book. This book is one of the best built books for notaries, especially if you're new and you're just trying to figure out, how do I set my business up? Should I do an LLC, S Corp, sole proprietorship? This book delves into that. So I want to highly recommend you go on this book. You get this book. It's on Amazon and also bookbaby.com. So, and also on our website, you can also get an e-copy of this book on our website, which is my website, which is lewistraining.online. It's a great book, so I just wanted to put a shout out to that book for those of you who are building your reference library and building a very successful notary business. So this week, I just wanted to mention the topic this week is a little different topic, because, and I get challenged, or I get asked this question a lot. Daniel, I know you're a full-time notary signing agent, a full-time notary entrepreneur. Daniel, I am a a notary entrepreneur, but I still work a full-time job. And I want to maybe transition to that, but maybe I like my full-time job. How can I balance that? Give me some tips on how I can balance a full-time career along with being a notary entrepreneur. Because just give me some tips on how I can do that. And that's what the topic is, balancing a full-time job with being a notary entrepreneur. So I'm going to give you 7 ways you can balance that. And hopefully these tips will be good for you. I've thought about it, and I talk to people that have full-time jobs and are very successful at their notary entrepreneurial career. So I'm going to give you some of the tips I've found from talking to successful notary entrepreneurs that have a full-time job and also are a notary entrepreneur. So let's start. Let's just get this thing going. The first tip I have, and I wrote some notes here, create a schedule and stick to it. Create a schedule and stick to it. That's the number one tip. Create a schedule and stick to it. Plan your week in advance. Allot specific time slots for notary work. Use a planner or digital calendar to stay organized. And I'm just old school. I use a planner like this. I plan my weeks out. In fact, just to give you another little tip, as a full-time notary entrepreneur, I plan my year out. I plan a year out on what goals I want to achieve that year, and then I plot those goals off into 4 sections of the year, and then I plan them monthly, those quarterly. I plan them monthly, and I plan them weekly, and I plan them daily. So I'm very I don't know if obnoxious about it, but for me, that works for me. But if you're a person that likes the digital calendar, you can plan things out on your digital calendar. I see a lot of people plan things out on a digital calendar, which works just as well. Depends on your personality, but definitely schedule your week out. And not only that, schedule your week out for when you do go to work, and then schedule your week out when you want to do notary work. And if you're a person like me, family man, I have a great spouse. I have a great family, several kids, several grandkids, and I plan my work, my notary work, and my family time. So you want to plan times that you spend with your family. A lot of times when people are planning their business, they just get overboard on all the plans they do for their business, can't hit all those plans because they have a family, and then it's like, oh, my family's in the way, or I have the kids, I can't do this. Like the kids are a disease. But plan your week with your family in mind. Plan family time. Plan if you have a place of worship, plan that time. Plan your work time. So definitely schedule and stick to your schedule with that. Make it a little flexible because sometimes things happen, but plan and try to stick with your schedule. That's the first thing. The second thing, when you have your schedule, and this is another thing, and you want to make it kind of flexible for yourself where you're not so rigid and you feel like, if I don't hit this, I'm not gonna be successful. But plan your schedule and stick to it as much as possible. The second thing is prioritize tasks. Make sure you're making things a priority. One of the things for me when I started my business is I had to market and network and build network partners. That was a priority to me. And as my business grew, I started prioritizing marketing plans, how I'm going to get repeat business, and that thought process. Also, another thing that was a big priority to me is my family time. When I planned my family time, I made it a priority each week to have set family time where I'm working with my kids, I'm working with my grandkids now, or I'm spending time with my spouse. And I make sure they understand my work time, I'm working. My family time, I'm all in on my family time. My family time, and I want to just stress for me, and this might not work for you, but during my family time, I'm not on my devices, on my phone, on my tablet. During my family time, it's strictly my family time. My work time, I try to stay with my work time. So that's a great little tip for you when you're prioritizing your time, your tasks. So the first, create a schedule and sticking with it. Make sure it's flexible so that you don't freak out if something happens. But then you schedule, you prioritize tasks that you have to have. Third thing is leverage technology. This is so important, leveraging technology. And just to give you an idea, using technology to streamline your notary business operation. Use the technology to streamline your notary operation. Invest in scheduling software, electronic signatures, and mobile apps that can help you manage appointments, track appointments, payments, and maintain records effectively. So you want to definitely leverage technology. I've done a podcast on what apps you should have, and these apps will really help you with your notary business. For example, several years ago, when I started my notary business, to get from point A to point B to the signer's location, we had to utilize MapQuest. That means we have to print out a map from our location to the signer's location and then try to read it as we go. Now there's apps that will talk to you as you're driving, tell you exactly where to go with your notary assignments. I have an app called Miles IQ. Love that app. I used to have to write each mile when I started, the mileage, when did I start, 2,000 miles to 2,050 miles. Just keep track of that, write down the mileage. I don't have to do that anymore. A great app for leveraging technology is a Miles IQ app that helps you keep track of your personal miles and your business miles. That's another way. And there's all kinds of notary apps out there. If you have a notary app that you want us to share and say, hey, this is a technology that will help notaries with their business, please send them my way and we can review it here on the podcast. So leveraging technologies is another way to really help you with your managing that work-life balance if you have a full-time job and you want to be a notary entrepreneur. So make sure you leverage technologies that's out there and available for you. The fourth thing that helps and really helped me with my notary business is delegate when possible. Now, in the notary business, when you talk about delegating things, we see a lot of private information, and we can't share that private information with just anyone that we hire. We have to, and like in my case, when I first started delegating something that I needed to do, there were some things I could delegate. Like if I needed to, because I had a business where I was doing about 10 to 13 closings a day. And what that means is that I needed ink, I needed paper, and if I can delegate, if let's say my spouse was going to a box store, I can say, hey, I know I need ink, I know I need paper. I can delegate that instead of me running around doing that. If I needed something picked up from the printers, not documents with personal information, but sometimes I need marketing materials picked up from a printer. I can have now my grandchildren pick that up from me. Or if I was having some type of event, a marketing event or a networking event, where I have to move the chairs around in the room or move tables around the room. I usually delegate that to one of my children, delegate that to one of the children and have them do that. So whenever possible, delegate certain tasks. You might hire an assistant or a partner with other notaries to handle some overflow work. If you can delegate, sometimes you can't take every assignment that comes your way. Sometimes delegating that to another notary and partnering up with another notary would help with that. In my business, when I first started, I worked with, and I talked about this a lot on other podcasts, this lady named Quincy Perry. Sometimes she had a really, really robust notary business, and a lot of times she couldn't take some of the assignments. So what she did was delegate them to me or refer them to me, and that really helped my business. And I did the same. So we referred business back and forth, and that really helped our business. It didn't cost us anything. We were just delegating or referring business back and forth. So just keep that in mind, because a lot of times notaries have the idea that I'm in business all alone. I'm in business by myself. But if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to have a nice, solid, foundational business that is there forever, work with other people. So delegating like assignments like that, or if you have a spouse or children that can help you with getting paper, picking up paper for you, or ink for your printer, that's another great way to keep your business going. The fifth thing and I had a really hard time with this fifth thing, but the fifth thing, I made it a priority to do this now in my business, is set boundaries. Set boundaries for yourself. Make sure you clearly define your work hours for both your full-time job and your notary business. Let me repeat that. Clearly define your work hours for both your full-time job and your notary business. Communicate these boundaries to clients, colleagues, and family members to ensure you have uninterrupted time for each role. So clearly set your boundaries. If you're working a full-time job and the job requirements are you to end at 5, sometimes people say, well, I'm going to end at 5, but I'm going to keep going and working off the clock. You just want to set your boundaries. Set your boundaries, especially if you're trying to start a notary entrepreneurial job. Set those boundaries set boundaries for your full-time job and your notary job. If you have callbacks to make and say, I'm going to make these callbacks from this time to this time, set the boundaries. That's what you're going to do. If I'm going to make this many calls, make those many calls. Set the boundaries for yourself. And that really helps your business just expand. So set boundaries, clear and concise boundaries. Sixth thing that I would highly recommend is utilize breaks and downtimes. Utilize your breaks and downtimes to really excel your business. Make the most of breaks and downtime during your full-time job to handle quick notary-related tasks, such as responding to emails or updating your schedule. This can help you stay on top of your notary business without compromising your primary job. So if you have little breaks here, little breaks there, definitely check. If you get emails on your phone, I use my phone all the time to check my emails. Whenever I have a little break here or there, I'll take the break and return emails, return text messages. So make sure you're utilizing the breaks and downtime when you have time. And now, number 7, the seventh thing you can do to help you with your work-life balance with your notary job, with your job and being a notary entrepreneur, is practice self-care. Sometimes when you're working two things at one time, you're going in all kinds of different directions. But I want to really stress to you, as a person that is a cancer survivor, as a person that is a COVID survivor, practice self-care. Balancing two demanding roles can be exhausting. So prioritize self-care. Ensure you can get enough sleep. And what I mean by enough sleep, I mean 6 to 8 hours of sleep every day. Your body is built to regenerate. Take that time to regenerate. So practice getting enough sleep, eating well. And I mean eating well. I've had, when I was really on the road, running hard, my day would start off, I would start off going to Mr. McDonald's, getting something there, then going to Mr. Taco Bell for lunch, then maybe at the end of the day when I'm running around, going to Mr. Pizza Hut, and then maybe Mr. Burger King at the end of that. And I felt like crap the whole day. Make sure you eat well. There's a lot of great choices. If you just have to look for them, great choices, low calorie, low sodium, low white flour, and things that raise your cholesterol and your blood sugar. Look for great choices to eat, or even pack your lunch. Go buy nice, healthy options, pack that lunch for the rest of the week, and then take that out if you're a traditional notary like me. So eat well, exercise regularly. Exercising regularly means when you're a notary, a lot of times you're sitting at your desk, you're printing out documents at your desk, you're taking those documents, sitting in your car, you're getting out of your car, you're going to an assignment, either in title company, house, office, motel, hotel. You're sitting down there and you're doing a lot of sitting during the day. Make it a point to get up and walk at least 20 minutes a day. That is going to keep you right on track and keep your business for a long time. So make sure you're exercising regularly and take time to relax and recharge. So important. I've heard some public speakers say, "Oh, all you need is about 4 hours of sleep, and you can just keep going." I'm not a student of that. I'm more of you have to have at least 6 to 8 hours of good quality sleep a night to recharge your batteries, to keep you going and keep you charged up for each day and each challenge. A healthy work-life balance will enhance your productivity and your overall well-being. I'm a big proponent of that, and I would even add to that with practice self-care, do some meditation every day, just deep breathing, just take a minute and just focus on your breath, focus on breathing. Meditation and deep breathing really helps you get recentered and helps you be more productive each day. Now, by implementing these tips, and these tips are, first, create a schedule and stick to it. Prioritize tasks for yourself. Make sure when you have that schedule, you're prioritizing the task on that schedule, what's important, what to do, what's important but not so important. So prioritizing tasks, leveraging technology like Miles IQ. Miles IQ is a great technical app that you can have as a notary. Delegate when possible. Delegate things that you can delegate, or even partner up with another notary, and maybe you can refer business back and forth. Set boundaries for yourself. That's number 5. Set the proper boundaries for yourself. And that's, for me, I struggle with that, but I'm getting better and better each day. Set the proper boundaries for yourself, what you can do, what you can't do. Utilize your breaks and downtime. Well, if you're a full-time employee somewhere, or you're a full-time worker, utilize your breaks and downtime. And then number 7, practice self-care. And that means getting enough sleep, eating well, eating good quality foods, exercising regularly don't mean you have to go out and do some type of hardcore marathon running training, but just get out and walk for 20 minutes a day. Just get up and walk. Set that as a priority, and exercise, eat, and just take a minute and just breathe. Hopefully you liked what you heard today in this podcast. If you did like what you heard today in this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And also, if you wanted to give us a comment, tell us what you think about this podcast. Tell us if you think this is a helpful podcast, if you have some ideas that you want us to share on the next podcast, if you have people you want us to interview. We have a couple of interviews coming up in the next few months that's going to be fantastic. You're not going to want to miss those. And also, just as a reminder, make sure you look at this book, Make Your Business Our Business, found on Amazon, bookbaby.com, amazon.com. It's one of the great books to add to your business library. Make sure you do that. Me and Judy Lawrence had a great time making that book just for you. Hope to see you again next week. It's going to be a fantastic podcast next week. Looking forward to seeing you again. See you soon.